what represents success for you?
I would say mental quality of health. Your mental quality of health is so important.
Okay.
And you have to absolutely focus on that 110%.
That's what I would say success looks like when you're able to surround yourself with people and they care about you the same way you care about you. So that's success. She mentioned already about your circles. I saw something years ago and it says, eat with your team, don't compete with your team.
Welcome to TSU Human Performance Sports Science Podcast, where we dive into the fascinating world of sports science and innovation, right here at Tennessee State University.
We are your hosts,
I'm Neil Monet
and Franka Sindicic, and today we are taking you on an exciting journey to educate, entertain, and keep you up to date of happenings right here on our campus.
In each episode of TSU HPSS, we'll bring you exclusive interviews with our expert faculty, coaches, student athletes, and our students from our departments who are making stride in this field.
You will gain the insights into the latest training techniques, nutrition strategies, and sports psychology breakthroughs that are now shaping the future of sports performance.
Or while bringing it to you from an HBCU perspective. Hello everyone, welcome back to our podcast. Today we have Philip Taylor and Jessica Williams. Glad to have y'all. How y'all doing today?
Good. How are you?
Doing pretty good. I can't complain.
All right. So today I want us to talk a little bit about what you're doing and what you've done for us. And I just want the world to know a little bit about y'all. So whoever want to start first.
Jessica, I'm going to let you start first.
Well, hello, everyone. My name is Jessica Williams, and I am in real estate. I have a real estate brokerage and a development company called smartgirldevelopments and InvestSmart today. I'm from San Diego, but I've been in Nashville for the last 18 years, and I went to Fisk University in 2005. And so, interesting enough, all of my cousins from all over the country all landed in Nashville in 2005. So a lot of my cousins went to Tennessee State University, as well as Fisk and Vanderbilt. So I've had a lot of experience on this campus.
Well, I'm Philip Taylor, so I am a Nashville native. I went to East Literature Magnet here in Nashville, did my undergrad at MTSU actually, but TSU has always kind of been home for me. Both my parents graduated here, all of my siblings graduated and did engineering here, so they've always had a close space to my heart. So I'll make sure I come back and, just show my face as much as possible.
That's very interesting. When I came to Nashville, it was not such a growing city, and it developed so much. So connecting to your work, how do you connect to that?
For me, it was a drastic change from San Diego to come to Nashville. But I did see many opportunities for growth and development. I just remember flying over. Every time I would fly into Nashville and look at all the housing below, it was in need of just a fresh breath of air, whether it's just whether painting of a home, whether it's the better street sign from the city, the way that the city cared for the community needed to be uplifted and changed. The first development sign I saw from the city's behalf was when they did all the planting off of the 28th Avenue and Jefferson Street. That was maybe almost about 8-9 years ago when I seen the first tree plant. I'm like, I wonder what the city's thinking over here. So those are, signs of pre-development from a city standpoint when they start to make small little investments back into the community. But Nashville was in desperate need of growth and revitalization in my thought process.
For me, this is crazy, honestly. Me being born and raised here, I've seen, where there were streets in East Nashville where, my parents, even growing up, they wouldn't even allow me to walk down those streets. So now I see so many individuals, they're walking dogs, they're jogging, they're exercising. And, in my neighborhood, Cleveland Park, where, we had a community center, I remember going every day, when I get out the pool, sometimes my shoes got stole, you know what I mean? But now that same community center is a Boys and Girls Club. So just seeing the growth, the way the neighborhoods are changing, I love it. I love my city. I've been fortunately enough to, rub elbows with, great people, over the years, Jessica being one. And, I've been in real estate the last 10 years. So I kind of started in real estate back in 2014 is when I first did my first project, with a good buddy of mine, DJ Wootson. So, man, we kind of got started together. We grew. So I've kind of seen Nashville start and just grow more and more over time. From, now I think they say, over 100 people move to Nashville every day. I don't know if that's still true or not, but I mean, it's crazy just seeing the amount of apartments going up, the amount of construction, the amount of large corporations moving here. Man, I'm excited. I have no intention of leaving my city, man. This is where I make my living. You know what I mean? So.
I'm actually excited too. I mean, I'm a foreigner, so where I'm from the Caribbean. I don't know if y'all know. I feel like Franca and I, we got to Nashville at the right time. It's just the perfect time where we can see the city just growing up, and it feels like it's a brand new city. Everything we see around is brand new, and it keeps getting better and better. With I think that they're gonna rebuild the Nissan Stadium. Mm-hmm. And so everything's getting newer right now. The place we at right now is brand new. The indoor facility at TSU is brand new. So I feel like everything's getting better and better. And it's nice to see that happen when me and Frank are here. And I had a question about your relationship with TSU. So you came back to the city, and I want to know a little bit more about how your relation with our department here and TSU in general.
My relationship with TSU is, like I said, it goes back to, childhood, my mother was a librarian here 27, 28 years. So I was always here during the summer, you know what I mean? When TSU hired Brian Penny Collins, man, I mean, I think a lot of individuals in the city got, excited. Him being a Nashville native coming here, putting his foot down and, creating change and growth. And we all got excited about that. And we all, the city, like myself, a lot of us got behind him and try to support as much as possible. So sometimes he would express needs, and then sometimes we would just make sure, hey, whatever comes up, take care of it. So a lot of us got together, we donated, funds to the basketball program and things like that for, food, uniforms, whatever they see, necessary. But I also have a long-term relationship with Dr. Smith in the sports science department. Coach Smith actually coached me when I was in high school playing football, you know what I mean? And we've always kept a growing relationship over time, year after year. He would always call, check on me, ask me how I'm doing, things like that. He told me he just knew I was always going to be one of those guys that just, I would find my way. So I did just that. So when Coach Smith told me about the sports science department, and I just embraced the opportunity to come, be able to give back, help as many students as possible, because I remember when I was going through college at MTSU, I remember when my siblings were, in college at TSU, and the students always need something, whether it's books, whether it's food, flat tires, brakes, whatever. So I just wanted to try to, Smith and I, we kind of talked about creating a fund, creating scholarship opportunities to help students. So last year we did just that. I believe we tried to give 10 student scholarships. We wanted to raise $10,000. And for the sports science department, I believe we actually raised about $23,000. So last year, Tennessee State, they named a scholarship after me. So it's the tailor-made scholarship. So in that scholarship, I was able to give 10 scholarships to 10 students. They all had to go through the application process. But one of the things that I wanted to do with that scholarship, I wanted to help people from Nashville. So when Dr. Smith asked me, are there any requirements that I wanted to put on the scholarship, the only thing I asked was, a Nashville student. A Nashville student and someone in his department, the sports science department. Those were my only asks, my only requirements. So I bring people like Jessica in. I bring people like, more people like DJ Wilson, more people like Will Rafford that I have relationships with and over time, and we want to just make something big about it. We want to make this big, man, big. TSU is going up, so we want to make sure we're part of it, and we make sure we do our part as well.
I personally wanted to thank you because I actually enjoy from that donation. Yeah, it's just nice to see that the giving back to people. You know, you already did your time. You already graduate. You already actually are successful at what you do at real estate, and you're able to give back to the people, to your student and the people and what you believe in, right? So I actually want to thank you. That's it. Just thank you.
Hey, you're actually helping me more than I'm helping you. You know what I mean? Because I feel like this is my purpose. You know, giving back, helping people as much as possible. That's something I kind of learned from my parents at an early age. So that's one of my passions. So, you know, I think I've came in and spoke with your class over the years.
You did, yeah.
So, you know, as you know, I come in every semester and I speak to about 2 or 3 classes, tell them who I am, what I do, what kind of impact I want to make, and, you know, talk to them about their goals, whether it's a 3-year goal, 5-year goal, all those things. But you're really helping me just as much, man, because you're giving me ideas. See, you do these podcasts, you know, seeing how involved you are, you know, you're giving me more ideas so we can help grow you guys, so we can help, you know, create more opportunities. And that's what we're here to do.
I would also like to thank you, and I would also like to thank you for actually coming to our classes, because I think it's very important to hear you out and hear your story, because there is not a lot of people in this world that actually give back to the community that they're raised from. And I think that is one of the most valuable things that a person can have. So my question for you, Miss Jessica, is can you tell us something more about your connection to TSU? I know that you mentioned that your brothers also went to Fisk and Tennessee State. So can you tell us a little bit more about that?
So my affiliation with TSU grew stronger when I was in the process of doing an affordable housing development. And so I wanted to be able to create housing units for people from all walks of life, especially from people in the heart of the community. And so I do a lot of work with Reverend Enoch Fuzz, who lives right on 33rd. And our involvement with TSU is usually quite often. So we participate a lot in Danny Glover's president brunch lunches or day of prayer. And we go there and we just try to offer ourselves to the community for any help that they may need. So I would say our presence is more so politically involved with what we need to do to help get political action to move the students of TSU in a better way. So I would say that's probably where the bulk of my involvement goes in at.
Now we're going to get her involved within our program, because Jessica has a lot of community connections, and, you know, they're always looking for ways that they can help out. So that's why I made sure I brought her today.
Well, thank you so much for bringing her. And also you were mentioning that you're also growing the foundation still for our department for Tennessee State. So can you please tell us also what you do for the community overall? Do you do any volunteer work? How do you contribute to all of that?
Yes, I do a ton of community service work, I feel like. But we do this thing called One Nashville once a Saturday a month. Over at 81933 at Corinthians Baptist Church. And what we do is we bring members of the community, so our mayor, our vice mayor, the councilmen, former council members, people who have nonprofit organizations in the community, and we all come together to brainstorm on how do we help Nashville become one Nashville, meaning everyone come together for the better good of the community. And then how do we focus on our, you know, education right here in the heart, which is TSU, Fisk University, Meharry, and things like that. And so we're always trying to bring the news stations out to speak about TSU. So we have several news articles out there with how do we get funding, how do they get the funding that they weren't wanting to give to TSU, so that they can have the support that they need for those students, especially with their housing and their dormitories, and so that they have adequate living while going to be educated at school. I know from going to Fisk University, we would hear the stories about TSU, you know, not having everyone not being able to have housing, or maybe there was a flood that happened in the dorm and now they have to be relocated. And so how do we prevent these things from happening, especially as a state-funded, you know, institution?
I personally wanted to talk about what you do for a living, because there's a point where you're able to help people, and before getting to that point you had to do something, right? So I want to hear more about how did you get there, right? How did you get to the point where you're like, okay, I've done enough for myself. Now I'm able to help others. So maybe talk about what you do for a living and what does it take to get there, basically.
For me, like I've already kind of mentioned, you know, I've been in real estate the last 10 years. Getting started in real estate has been quite a journey, I would say. You know, just learning entrepreneurship, you know, learning, you know, management skills, you know, dealing with different personalities, different attitudes, things like that. I would say those were the struggles I dealt with early on in entrepreneurship. But my story is kind of unique, you know, I would say. You know, I had a job at the time where, you know, I was a call center supervisor for a company. And, you know, I kind of mentioned this in class or whatever. So my father, he kind of called me and he was like, you know, he had a job for me. And I'm like, a job? I'm already working. You know, I was a suit and tie guy every day. So then, you know, I was curious to know exactly what he was talking about. So, man, I left work immediately, checked out early, told him I'll be back tomorrow. I wanted to know exactly what he was talking about, what he had, what kind of vision did he have for me. So I met him at an address over in East Nashville, and we walked through a property, which I already know my father's, he's a plumber. So I already know my father was also an entrepreneur. He was a plumber. He had a couple of rental properties and things like that. So I knew he had already been in real estate. I just never had any interest at the time. He brought me in, you know, told me, hey, this is your job. So I'm like, what? So I started walking through this property. Man, my first property I ever worked on was 948 McFerrin. I renovated this property for my pastor, Howard E. Jones Jr. He's a big mentor and part of my growth, and you know he's done a lot for me in my life. But that was my first project. Now I lost money on that project, of course, because I didn't. Yeah, I was just getting started. I didn't know how to budget. I didn't know how long things would take and things like that. So after that project, I started doing a little work over for Will Rafford. I think Will is actually back at TSU now. So I know he was an engineering major at TSU, and I believe he's back working here at TSU as well. But I helped him work on the Nia House Montessori School over in East Nashville. And, you know, Will used to talk to me all the time. When he saw me, he was like, man, Philip, what's wrong? And I told him simply, I was like, man, Will, I'm broke. I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to pay all of my subcontractors every Friday. Where is that money coming from? When I had already made so many mistakes under budgeting and things like that. So Will sat me down one day and he told me, he was like, man, Philip, man, what's your 3-year goal? I didn't have one. He said, what's your 5-year goal? I was like, man, I definitely don't have one of those. So he told me, he was like, man, Philip, he was like, the first thing you need to do is create a plan. The second thing you need to do is master your skill. And then he told me simply, the money will come. So those 3 things kind of stuck with me for years. So that kind of helped me drive entrepreneurship. That helped me learn. That created opportunities for me and give. Now I have the opportunity to come back and give to you guys. Like right now, every 2 weeks, I still go and speak to students about entrepreneurship, about, you know, success, because a lot of minority students just don't know what success looks like. They think it's either a rapper or a basketball player or a football player. So, you know, when they see Jessica and I, they don't really know they're successful, but success is measured in different forms, right? So I would definitely say we're successful because it's not always monetary, but just our testimonies can help so many students. So yeah, every 2 weeks, I go and speak to students at Martin Luther King, Maplewood, East, and Knowledge Academy. So yeah, I'm involved with Black achievers and also Latino achievers. I've been fortunate enough to serve on the scholarship committees with those programs and things like that. So they give out scholarships every year to high school students, graduating high school students. I've seen students go to Howard. I've seen students go to Spelman, TSU, Fisk, just different universities all over the world. But so that's something that I'm still involved with within the community. And my platform, you know, in real estate just gave me that opportunity. Real estate, man, you can be so versatile, right? You know, I don't have to check in every day or clock in. You know, I wake up every morning, the first thing I do is check on all my subcontractors, and then I may sit there a little bit.
Yeah.
and just, get my mind together. But it's definitely given me the opportunity. And I owe a lot of credit to, I would say, Will Radford. He was the one that kind of put me on the straight and narrow. That kind of just simply mapped it out for me with just a simple conversation. So I owe a lot of my success to him.
So we both know that you have a lot of role models and people that guide you in your life to get the success. What would be one of the things or ideas that you would give to our students, how to build on that, how to figure out yourself and how to master your skill, as you mentioned?
First thing I would recommend is to create a 3-year plan, a 3-year goal. Like, where do you see yourself in 3 years? What would you like to accomplish in 3 years? Or, things like that. What about you, Jessica?
I would say you got to really work on your inner self, because once you gain all the success, if your mind is not right, you will lose every last thing that you built up. And so my greatest mentor, the person I look up to, is my dad. My dad currently right now is in Mumbai, India, on a 3-week yoga retreat to go in.
I'm gonna have some questions about that later on.
He is getting it in right now, and he would always say, like, I just would see the joy in him when he would go out and make deals happen. And I saw how he was as a father with me and my brother, by being able to have the flexibility to take us to Disneyland. So if we're at school, he would, the next day we wouldn't go to school, and I'd come back and they're like, oh, were you sick? And I'm like, no, my dad, we went to Disneyland. So I think my dad was trying to give us to not keep us on a daily normal lifestyle, you will, like took us out of the everyday walk. And he wanted to give us a different way of thinking and a different way of living. And I remember my dad was like, one day when he made the decision to change his life, he was drinking a beer and smoking a joint. This is what he said. He said he had to say, you know what, because that's what you're doing every day, is you're trying to, in your lost world, you're not thinking right. And he said once he put all that down and was like, he took the time to go inward, is when his whole entire life changed. That's when he was able to develop his businesses and travel all over the world and have contracts with Costco, BJ, Sam's, wholesale. I mean, I remember accidentally having $800,000-$900,000 in my bank account by accident, because it was an accident, deposit in an account. But you're going from someone who was never there to being able to be there. And so, again, he said none of that ever happened until he decided to go inwards and figure out how to focus on his life, and all the rest will come. So that would be my greatest advice, is to do that. For me, I'm a horrible planner, so I probably do need to implement planning, but I'm such a go as you flow type of person. So I'm like, okay, God, if this is what I'm supposed to do next, just align my pathway to be able to do it. Now I do have a vision to look outwards and say, okay, this is where I want to be, and this is what I want this to look like. And then I just hope that the Lord would guide that. Now, I'm not saying you should do that, because you probably need a good plan, but that's just what has worked for me.
Yeah, so I was one of those people that needed the plan. I would procrastinate, push things off, so I really needed to create that plan. And then, the biggest thing when I say master a skill for me, mine was management. So at MTSU, I majored in business management, and I did a minor in finance. But my greatest skill is management. Being able to deal with the different personalities, manage the different attitudes, backgrounds, things like that. I've always just had an impact to be able to relate to a lot of people.
Mm. So if money is not the answer, what represents success for you?
I'm going to say mental quality of health. Your mental quality of health is so important.
Okay.
And you have to absolutely focus on that 110%. What you eat, are you exercising? Who are the people that you're associated around? Are you associated with good, solid people? That you got to start looking at that list real close, because if you're dealing with people who are not of substance, when you start gaining things, you have to look at who you're eating with. Even when you're like, oh, I want to go to lunch. Well, who are you eating lunch with? Because now you're spending money eating with a person that is not going to involve you anywhere. And then you look up and realize you spent all this money dealing with people who are going backwards. And so, yeah, I will evaluate your circle real closely. And you should be mutually prospering with the people that you're around. And it's not to say, what can I gain from you? No, it's just, am I in a good, peaceful state when I am with you? I've seen people spend so much money on dealing with frivolous things, and then when it gets time for you to make the move you need to make, you can't make it.
Yeah.
So you don't want to do that with the people that you're involved with, going out and things like that. So it's okay to go out and kick it now, but like that should not be your everyday.
But see, like, I want to know, because people like me, I want to be successful, right? I want to see myself in 10 years and be like, okay, I'm a successful person. But when do I know when I'm there? Like, is it based on my goal? Is it based on, what is it based on?
I would say it's based on your goals.
Yeah.
Because everybody's goal is going to be different. You know, everybody's finish line is going to be different.
But is there a finish line, though?
Because I would say that I would say something different. I would be like, you're already successful, right? So I look at a success as that you are currently there. You're here, you're doing a podcast, you're speaking with us. You know, we're at TSU, we've been able to get to school, we're able to do all these great things. And so I think so you've met a goal that you've gotten. So to what you're saying, yes, you've met your goal and you're successful. So you just want to maintain, you know, you want to really watch it. You need to watch your life like the credit people. My thing, I got them credit score back whenever that thing is called, whenever some stuff starts hitting, because any little thing goes like this. And so when you're monitoring everything, again, that's the people, your goals, whatever it is you're doing, you're constantly going like that. So monitoring your level of success, which I think ultimately goes back to your mental quality health, but then goes back to your finances. They all work hand in hand.
Right. I like and agree with everything what Jessica's saying, because I never thought about it like that. But, you know, she's right. You're already successful. Now you create a new goal, and then you go and master that as well, you know. So for me, success, for me, I would say being able to help people. You know, I didn't have a monetary goal like, oh, I want to make 100,000 or I want to get $1 million in my bank account. No, that wasn't one of the goals that I set for myself. But one of the things that I see for myself, and one of the goals, is being able to help people, being able to take time out my day and from work, from family, and then I can go and inspire somebody else or motivate someone else. That was success for me. That's one of the most refreshing things for me. And, you know, that when I see people feed off my energy, that it motivates me even more. So it makes me want to figure out how I can take, instead of helping 2, how can I help 4 next time? How can I help 8 the time after that? So that's what success is for me. Being able to help people, whether, you know, if it's, you know, motivation, encouragement, whether it's monetary, whatever that looks like. But just being able to help somebody else reach their goals, or, you know, walk down the straight and narrow. That's what success is for me.
Those are some very wise thoughts, and I do agree with all of them, and it's definitely going to help us guide all of us, and I hope the people that are listening to this podcast as well in their lives. And my question is, since we are going towards the end, we kind of ask all of the questions, you answered it all. Do you have any questions for us or about the department, or maybe personal questions for Neil and I?
So what are some ways that we can share with the community as we leave here and go out and interface with the world, that we can get more people to get involved and be able to support TSU, and especially this specific department?
Well, since you have a lot of connections with a lot of successful people, my idea would be maybe if they can contact Dr. Smith. I mean, I'm pretty sure that you're already doing on that on the foundation, but also if they can maybe join us with this podcast, because this is actually how we're trying to promote our department and to continue to build more on this. So our next GAs that are coming in also work on this. We're also going to expand it on a video structure, and that's how we want to bring the people in that are going to help our department. But also, if you do know any professors that are working on the research, we are starting to work on a lot of research this semester as well, because I know that we want to move our school or department from Air 2 to Air 1 research. So we're really working on that to expand, because that is what is going to bring us the money as well for this department. So if you do know anybody, you can always direct them to Dr. Smith.
So exposure is the main thing.
Yes.
You can say.
Yeah.
All right, I got it. What about you?
For me, the main thing is seminar. So we just getting started with the seminar. Frank and I had the chance to do the seminar with the Titans and then with the Preds. And I feel like I've learned so much from those because I know what I can do a little bit more with my degree. And I feel like that's something that a lot of students don't really know, that they're kind of restricted by the job they can do with their degree. They don't really know how much they can do with their degree. So if maybe we can do a little bit more with those real situation experience, because if we can go out there and see other jobs, see something else and other than just the one that we're hearing about, and see some real life jobs that people actually making money with, maybe that could help our students. Yeah.
Okay. Are you guys gonna be at the mixer this weekend?
Yes. I'll be here on Saturday. I can't count.
So Jessica, I don't know if I've told you already, but this weekend we got a mixer over at TSU. Is that 2?
It starts at 2. Yeah.
It starts at, so it's a mixer at TSU in the Gentry Center this weekend. It starts at 2:00. It'll end at probably 3:30, and then pretty much everybody that's here go have a good time, dance, listen to music, network, and then we all start watching the basketball games.
Yep.
The boys have a basketball game this Saturday. Yep. So we just carry the events over from the mixer to the basketball game. So invite as many people as possible.
Yep.
And invite as many people as possible. Jessica, make sure you show up. Because it's going to be a lot of people that we need to, continue to rub elbows with.
Yeah.
So can help us, and that maybe they can help us with TSU as well.
Yeah, we were also gonna show you the Wingate test in our lab, and also VO2 max test as a running test, so you can also be able to see that. And after that, of course, join the TSU basketball game. I think it's gonna be pretty good. We're gonna have fun.
I think I'm gonna be the one on the back, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
so
I'm gonna be the one running on the track.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
On the treadmill.
So do you guys have any internships lined up?
I do, actually. I just started an internship with Vanderbilt. So I want to be, my thing is coaching. I want to be a strength conditioning coach. And so I started that internship with Vandy probably like a week ago, actually a week today. And it's just awesome. Thank you, Dr. C, for telling me about this opportunity. And I felt like I was very, very lucky to get it, because it didn't take me more than a week to actually have a answer from them. And then the whole process took actually a month. But I was very, very lucky to get that internship.
Man, congratulations, man. See, that's what I like to hear about, those success stories, you know what I mean? That everything we're doing is really working, So what about you?
I did my internship last semester, since I'm also helping as the tennis coach here. So I did last semester, I did it with NFL Titans at the Stadium Experience. It was an amazing opportunity. I also got a connection there by one of the seminars that we did with the Titans in May. That is how I established my connection with them, and that is actually how I got my internship. And what?
No, I was just gonna say that's exactly why I was saying it's very important to get those seminars, because you get to meet so many people, and then that's when you actually network and get those connections.
Yeah, and that's where you get actually the opportunity to show yourself, but not also show ourselves, but also show the school, and that we are really quality students here, and we have a very good quality team of the professors behind us, and also our people that are giving us the scholarships that are promoting this department, so people like you. And I can say that I think we had around 6 internships with the Titans in last year. So that really opened a lot of doors for us and for this department. So thank you one more time for supporting it.
Right. No question. So I did went to the Super Bowl, but is it challenging to get internships with the Super Bowl or the NFL, where they can get y'all into the Super Bowl, where you're able to, I don't know how that all works, but just being in that sports side of the world?
So I think for us, the biggest help was actually the seminar that we did, because that is where we established the communication with the NFL team.
Okay.
And I think in sports, the most important thing is actually networking. And you taught us also that in class in your speech, Mr. Philippe. But also for me and Neil, we can also not really speak on that behalf, because we have a lot of issues with getting the papers for the internships, since we are both internationals. So that is why, for example, we would maybe like to stay and work, but because of our visas, we cannot. But I think that the most important thing is the networking, and that is what Neil said. It's very important to continue these seminars and make them more, not just in NFL or what we did with the Predators with NHL, but also expand to baseball leagues, to soccer leagues, to whatever we can get actually in the city of Nashville.
Listening about your success stories and the internships that you're currently involved with, I think Dr. Smith was telling me last week that a couple students, one got a job. He graduated in December, ended up getting a job for the Lakers or something.
Oh yeah, Jordan.
Yeah. So one of the twins, right?
Yeah.
So the twins, when I came maybe 2 years ago and was speaking to the class, I ended up meeting them, and they ended up coming out to a couple of my job sites several times actually, and they were filming progress, things like that. So I think they actually may have footage of a couple of my houses that I built from start to finish. And so I might have to reach out to them, man. But listening to those stories, that's what does it for me. That's what success is for me. Being able to, see you as a student, how, I may be able to help you or Dr. Smith, and then seeing them now, they're reaching their goals where they're working for an NBA team, So, man, that's success for me. So, again, I want to say congratulations for y'all.
Thank you. And I think that's it. Thank you so much for coming today.
And where can they find you at if they wanted to connect with you directly or?
So yeah, we have a YouTube channel. It's TSU HPSS, and as well as an Instagram page, same name. I think there's an underscore somewhere. Yeah. TSU HPSS.
Like you said, TSU
HPSS. That's right. HPSS. I say it too fast. So
Website?
we got a website. Yeah. Website is TSU website, and then you gotta go to Human Performance Sports Science HPSS, and then there's the podcast page where we post all our podcasts.
So Jessica is one of our new members here today. So we want to make sure she comes back. So what is something that, that you would like to see Jessica help with in the future? Like, paint the picture for her. Is it exposure?
I think that's what I was gonna say. Exposure would be huge. Actually, I feel like exposure is the biggest thing, and just making sure that people knows about what's going on. That's it. Because if they don't know, there's no way they're gonna know about it. So, any little events, the mixer is one of them. Just make people notice. Make people notice TSU. That's it.
And I would also recommend if you can also bring her in class for speeches, because I think it means a lot to see a woman as well that is successful. Yeah, so I think that will mean a lot for all of our students, especially because you both have very contagious, positive energy. And Miss Jessica, I love your smile. I cannot help it not to smile back because it's really contagious. So thank you very much for that.
Yeah, I'm going to definitely talk to Dr. Smith now and see when we can get her in the classroom. Yeah. Seeing, you're right, seeing a female, that does a lot. And yeah.
That's right.
Because she's a boss. She's a boss.
And it's hard out here as a woman in, real estate. I remember my first, if I could share really quickly for women that are out there. So my my page is called Smart Girl Developments. And at first I thought of it as like, okay, just talk about real estate and building properties in the city. And then I realized, like, actually we need to focus. That's why I say go back to the inner you. Who are you? How are you moving? Things like that. But when I first got started in real estate, it'd be people, builders that would not give me, they wouldn't educate me unless I was air quote friends with benefits. So in order for me to gain any insight, that was like the road. So I was like, okay, now I'm good. And I never went that direction. So it has taken me 50 million times longer, really. I've seen people skyrocket just to try to sit and figure it out without, no, we can't go on a date. No, I'm not doing that. Nope, and just get in my own books and in my own lane and focus on that, And so I do want to say that for women, that it is challenging in that arena to just stay focused. Now, I'll say now that I have evolved, I ain't got them problems no more. So So I'm thankful to like have moved through that. But yeah, so that's for to women, just to stay focused. Don't allow thinking you got to get through the door to show a little boobies. You ain't gonna do any of that. Like you don't have to. You can come as you are. Your intelligence can get the job done. Yes, it may take a little bit longer because that's just the society that we live in. But you just stay the course and make your business, stick to business, and that's it. So I would share that.
That is great. And we found that very motivational. That is why I think it's important for you to speak in the classes as well, so the women out there can also hear you out. So thank you one more time.
You're welcome.
Yeah, you're definitely right, Jessica. So seeing a female as a boss in entrepreneurship, being successful as you are, I mean, that's important. It's it's motivational for a lot, like Frank has already mentioned. So like even my daughter, I bring my daughter, she's only 5, but I bring her around the job sites, because I want her to know not only what I do, but I want her to understand, and it's, as she grows up, it's going to be something that she's familiar with,
Right.
You know what I mean? So I've taken my daughter to several job sites, make her put a little work boots on. I've taken her to closers when I sell properties, even when I go pick up rental money. So I'll teach her how to count, count the money out. So.
And Philip is one of the people that he's always been super straightforward, very positive, just always good energy, and just feels like, just a good representation in the community. So all builders are not like that. I don't want to say that, but he's definitely been an outstanding person in this community.
Yeah, I just try to help as many people I can, In school, for me, I probably wouldn't have made it if I didn't have someone that cared about me. And also, in my career, there's been so many people that have made an impact in my life, and I didn't have to write them a check. You know what I mean? So just when they helped me, it gave me tools to figure out how I can help. So, I mean, there's people that call me all the time, for information or for subcontractors, and I don't charge or turn my nose up or anything like that, because their blessing is my blessing. You never know when you'll need someone. I know you've heard me say that in class so many times. Don't burn those bridges and network. You never know when you'll need someone. There's been times where I call Jessica up and I'm like, hey, I may need this, I may need that. And if she can't do it, then she'll find a way. And that's what's been important to me. That's what I would say success looks like, when you're able to surround yourself with people and they care about you the same way you care about you. So that's success. She mentioned already about your circles. I saw something years ago, and it says, eat with your team, don't compete with your team. So that's something that, me and a lot of my friends, we use. We want to make sure we help each other elevate as much as possible. And that's just where we stand.
So if y'all would like to follow at Smart Girl Developments on Instagram.
We definitely got to exchange information.
Yes. Thank you again so much for coming to that podcast today.
You're
That was great to have you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Y'all did
Have a
phenomenal
good day.
interviews.
Thank you.
All right.